Good evening, everyone. This is Chart Sniper with the weekend review of the indices and market. This is a review on 26th, and it is for the last week of September. This week would be interesting, and as I mentioned last week, these 2 weeks will be very difficult weeks for trading. With that in mind, let's get started with looking at ES first. So what happened in ES on daily is it came back down to the cloud area, cloud bottom, and started bounce. Okay, so there will be two scenarios here. One is this bounce is a genuine bounce. The other one is this bounce is just a bear flag which might lead to a further pullback. Okay, so those are the two scenarios, and the way they closed it last week was right in the middle, keeping everyone guessing on what would be happening next, right? So far it's plus 12.75 up. It doesn't mean we are out of woods yet on the S&P futures. So we still have the middle Bollinger Band. We are not yet above 20 days average, 20 period average, and the bounce was on a decreasing volume. So we really have to wait and see, and I would recommend a lot of patience. With your trading, it might just get rejected by 20 period average and pull back, do one more pullback. Okay, so it can do this big pullback, bounce, and a little bit pullback, and before it further bounces. Okay, and this is also the last week of September, which means there will be a month end, and if this month initially has put a lot of people in losses, then they might want to do some loss booking that happens at the month end. So there might be some sell off with respect to that, so we never know. As of now, on a daily, it is not clear yet whether there will be a clear bounce or there will be a pullback. Okay, we have to really see how this one goes. On weekly perspective, it looks pretty neat. It just kind of went all the way to the middle Bollinger Band, bounced nicely, and the way it is trading this week, like the future just started with the plus 13. It is regained its 5 weeks exponential moving average. Okay, but we have to really wait. It's still a long night, and we have to see how the market turns by tomorrow morning. Okay, so Monday will be a very important day for bulls and bears to set up their stance. Okay, it's not out of the woods yet. So that is ES, and we'll be looking at with the hope that it might close above the 20 period average, and even a mild close above 20 period average will not prove anything on Monday, because Tuesday it can just lose the 20 period average just like that, right? So we really need a very strong candle like this on Monday, going all the way higher above these levels here. So that's when we can be sure that the bounce is really, it really has some strength. Okay, so if you see a small candle on Monday, then that shows some weakness. So be careful. I will be in a watch mode on Monday. I'll not take anything for granted, even at the end of the Monday. Um, if it just is a small candle for the entire tomorrow, okay? I would like to see a really big candle to show the strength. Now, coming back to the Nasdaq. So Nasdaq might see some bounce there, and because there is a lot of move that is pending with respect to the 20 period average. It has to do some catch up to do. Volume also was decreasing after the initial increasing volume sell-off. So if you think about this as bear flag, we can see this one bear flag and one more pullback to this cloud top is possible. It held above the cloud, which is a good thing. On weekly, it is trying to regain the 5 weeks average, very similar to S&P, but a little bit stronger overall. That's the usual thing that happens with Nasdaq. So nothing to say here except that, be cautious. Overall weekly volume was above average, more than what the sell-off happened um, in 2 weeks before. So that's a good sign. So moving on to Russell. Russell small cap is one of the indices that is looking stronger um, in the short term. It's not looking that strong when you see the entire long-term consolidation that's happening, but overall it decently bounced, making a higher low from this one, and it already moved above the 100 weeks average, 100 days average, and staying above 20 period average. But with the kind of volatility that it has, it can stay above 20 and pull back, stay, pull back, and do all the drama it wants to. So we can't really trust this. So if the overall market is bouncing, then there might be a big candle like this all the way up to the upper Bollinger Band that shows some strength. Yeah, so we really have to see if we get that kind of candle or we just kind of, consolidate here for some more days. Okay, weekly looks very similar to other one. So very close to the weekly middle Bollinger Band means which says literally no direction at all, no trend at all. So it just consolidating sideways around the middle Bollinger Band. So when we compare it with Dow Jones, this is one of the weakest one so far. The moving average daily is very strongly uh, pulling it down. It has not even crossed above the cloud yet. There is some attempt to cross it. Hopefully it will. Hopefully it won't. Um, Again, decreasing volume last 3 weeks. Weekly was fine. I think most of this volume in the last week is from selling that happened in the first 2 days. So we really need to be careful before we assume anything. So with that in mind, I would recommend you, if you are already placed bullish, you don't need to get into a panic mode, and really hope that Monday will be a nice day with a very decent, big, strong bar. I said hope. I'm not counting on it though. And on that strength, I would recommend you, if you are in profits with some of the trades, try to book some profits and try to lighten it a little bit. And if you are making new bullish trends, don't go at full quantity. If you typically go and buy 3 contracts or something like that, you can buy one contract, but not the full full contact size yet. Okay, so it's always better to be cautious and wait for a clear trend formation and then play. There will still be some decent move to upside um, for that. So I don't want you to get trapped on a small strength or weak strength tomorrow. So let's be patient. Let's see how it goes. Okay, I'm really doubtful on the month end rally. So we'll see how it goes. So with that in mind, let's quickly look at VIX, what exactly it is doing. Last week we mentioned that it might do a bounce to the 100-week average. That's what it did. It did bounce to the 100-week average and did a complete U-turn and sold off. Okay, so it made the move as expected, but For it to be strong, it should have at least stayed about 200 weeks average, which it did not do. So that shows a sign of slight bullishness. VIX gave off completely, but it's still holding above the 20 weeks average. So we really have to wait and see how it behaves. Okay. So if VIX continues staying below these levels of 18-ish, then we should be good. It might suggest that the market might do a slow grind higher. But if you see VIX going back above 20, that's where we should be of concern. Okay. On daily perspective, there is nothing to see here. It kind of moved and closed below all averages. So that's the only positiveness I would see with VIX getting that low. So let's quickly analyze, let's quickly look at SKEW. I hope it also came down a little bit. Yes, it did. I think it is at 145. So it moved down and moved bit. So still we are in kind of a overbought sell territory from a long-term perspective, but good that it is coming down a little bit. So hopefully this kind of comes down further a little bit so that market can do its usual thing. That usual thing is slow grind higher. And quickly, Bitcoin. So on daily, clear bounce off of the cloud one, two, three times, and it can continue bouncing off the cloud all the way up here, provided it stays itself above the 200 days average. Okay. So it's above all the averages. It's between sandwiched between 50, which is the purple one, and red, which is 201. So we have to see what it does. If it moves above this 43570 level, that would be good. But yet, so far looks like the cloud has been support, and until it doesn't break the cloud, we should be okay. So this is a nice consolidation. The two averages are about to converge. So for a bounce to happen, it should really do a decent candle here up this week. So we have to see if it happens or not. So let's hope it bounces. So far, looking not that bearish and not that bullish either. Below 200 days, it gets really tricky. So I want it to stay above that 200 days. So Ethereum also in the same plate, it bounced off the 38.2 retracement and is staying above 50% retracement now. So a quick bounce to 3372 is quite possible before it decides to kind of roll over. So this trend line, downtrend line that we have, it meets around the middle Bollinger Band 20 MA around that 3350 level. So maybe it will do a bounce this week and then it will decide in which direction it should go. Okay. Weekly is looking a little bit weaker, so the moving average is pointing down. Yeah, so we need a close at least above the 3158 level for it, above 3158, and a almost a $200 bounce to 3350 might be helpful to not look so bearish. Okay, so that was a quick review. What I would recommend you to do is play a waiting game and look for a strong bounce on Monday. If you get it, well and good. You can continue that. You can think that it might do a slow grind higher. If you don't get a strong bounce, if it's just a very small candle and very weak, then it gives more reasons to be cautious. Okay, so on weekly, when we switch it to Heikinashi, yeah, it's a transition candle, but this is still beginning of the week, early hours of the futures trading. So as long as it doesn't put a flat red bearish candle, we should be okay there. So let's hope and see that Monday will be strong. But I am even if Monday is strong, rest of the week it might do some consolidation, and most likely or not, it might leave us into the limbo at least through the middle of the week, like 28th and 29th by Wednesday. Maybe it might pick up if in all these 4 days, if you see a lot of bearishness, maybe on the first it might bounce back hard. So we'll wait and see what happens in the first couple of days, which might give a direction to the last days. October 1st, new funds will be coming. So some of the big players might want it to stay higher. So let's see. VIX has to go up and market has to prove itself by really putting a strong big candle for further continued strength. With that, I would like to conclude this quick review of indices. Hope that was helpful. Um, Play a little bit lighter this week until the trend is established. With that, thank you very much for tuning into this weekend review. Have a green week. Okay. Thanks. Bye.